This is pretty wild, guys. I just watched this video and I thought, you know what? You guys need to see this. If you haven't already, you probably haven't. Honestly, I found this really quite disturbing. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to have you with us. And you know what? I can't believe this video. Someone was driving a Tesla Cybertruck and someone else driving a Lexus SUV. I don't know why, but I hate these vehicles. I've always thought Lexus, these big Lexus SUVs, which are basically a more premium version of a Toyota Land Cruiser, I always thought they looked ugly. I've always disliked them. I don't know why. Do you guys feel the same way, or do you like them? Let me know in the comments. But anyhow, one of them was driving along, and the owner of the Lexus has tried to basically crash into the Cybertruck or swerve to make the guy feel like he was going to crash into him, aggressively tailgated him, tried to get him to pull off the road so he could confront him, and then pulled a gun on him. What looks like a gun anyway. It actually looks like a gun that's stuck in a holster. But as you can see, the Cybertruck owner, he's just continued to drive along, and then he's changed lanes. The Lexus has followed him, just driving erratically all over the road. Pretty insane considering the guy driving this Lexus has to have known he was being filmed. He was on a busy freeway with cars everywhere. And he's clearly not someone who is running from the law. I mean, he's driving a pretty expensive car, more expensive car than I've ever personally owned. He clearly has to have had some success in life. But how can you be a successful person in life if you are this insane and this emotional? I mean, people like this, in my opinion, just absolutely shock me. They seem so self-entitled, and it's like their solipsism, their narcissism. It's almost like absolutely everything is about them and their own feelings, and nothing else matters. Guys, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about these kinds of actions? Let me know what you think. Now, obviously, you very well know what I think, and this is not me talking about politics, I should point out. This has got nothing to do with politics. I'm pointing out that I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm seeing in these videos. It's certainly entertaining, but not in a good way. It's entertaining in a sense that you see it and you feel outraged, or you feel sick, or you feel disgusted at the fact that someone can do this to someone else. And clearly this Cybertruck driver is just driving along normally. And, well, I don't know, he might have bought this vehicle well before DOGE was ever even invented. Who knows? What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments. Somebody said to me last year, they said, you know, Sam, how the hell is this company NIO? They're losing billions of dollars every single year that they've ever been in business. How are they still in business, and how the hell do they have so much money? It doesn't make any sense. Well, very good question. NIO just reported within hours that they once again lost around $1 billion in the numbers are staggering, in the fourth quarter of 2024. Their losses are growing, and yet they aren't actually at immediate risk of bankruptcy. That said, though, AI says their risk is growing substantially every single week. Here are the details behind what's actually going on at NIO and why NIO isn't bankrupt when, to be honest, it should be. It's lost so much money, it's insane. I mean, basically the US investors, the US public, they're just looking at NIO going, what the hell is going on with that company? How are they still selling cars? Here is how they're managing to pull it off, even though they're losing insane amounts of money on every single car that they sell, despite some creative reporting saying otherwise. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you with us. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. NIO, the Chinese EV manufacturer, who are listed on the US Stock Exchange, reported their financial results for the fourth quarter and full year of 2024, revealing growth in revenue, but widening losses. Revenue, 2024 Q4, so the fourth quarter, the last 3 months of 2024, revenues reached $2.7 billion US, marking a relatively low increase of 15% versus the same quarter the previous year, and an increase of 5.5% from the previous quarter, which is a bit of a shock. Generally, the fourth quarter of 2024 is the quarter where all of a sudden your revenue skyrockets for most car manufacturers in China. Net losses. The company recorded a net loss of RMB 7.1 billion, which is about $975 billion US. That's a 32.5% increase compared to the same period in the previous year, and a 40.6% increase from the third quarter of 2024. In other words, their net losses, their debts are growing substantially. They're accelerating. I mean, There's a reason NEO just fired 10% of its staff because it's losing so much money. I mean, $1 billion for 1 year, okay. You lost $1 billion US dollars in a year. I guess you could deal with that maybe. $1 billion in 3 months? Yeah, surely, right? Surely NEO's going to be in financial trouble, you'd think. Vehicle deliveries. NEO delivered 72,000 vehicles in Q4, a 45% increase year over year. So its vehicle delivery numbers have gone up pretty significantly, but its revenues have only grown by a relatively small amount. Vehicle sales. Annual vehicle sales totaled $8 billion, which is an 18% increase from 2023. So in other words, its deliveries increased by 45%. However, its total sales numbers only increased by 18%, showing you that actually the net value of every car it sells has come down significantly over the past 12 months. Gross profit. The gross profit for the year was $888 million, but obviously, as I mentioned before, the company has actually made big losses this year, so that gross profit number is pretty misleading. Liquidity concerns for NEO. NEO acknowledged that its current liabilities exceed its current assets. Now, that's kind of concerning. They admitted that on the 31st of December 2024. And is the situation now even worse? I'm assuming so, because considering they hadn't done their numbers on the 31st of December, I'm going to guess that their debt's now $1 billion worse. And considering their assets were already worth less than their debt burden, it's to me, it doesn't look good. The company, though, has said it has sufficient funds to support operations over the next 12 months, and it said that right before it fired 10% of its staff worldwide. Bankruptcy risk. ChatGPT 4.0 Enterprise, it costs quite a bit of money to actually pay for this software, and it's quite advanced. It's actually pretty amazing. It says NEO has an above average probability of experiencing major financial distress within the next 2 years, with odds of distress estimated to be over 60%. That's pretty concerning, especially when you consider the fact that for this research I've done here, ChatGPT Enterprise examined about 200 different financial documents to give you that result. Conclusion. What does this all mean? Well, NEO continues to grow its revenue and vehicle deliveries, which does appear good, but its increasing net losses and liquidity concerns present major challenges, thus the reason they've fired 10% of their staff. The company's acknowledgement of its liabilities exceeding its assets and the heightened probability of financial distress underscore the need for major strategic restructure to improve profitability and financial stability. And you know what? NEO's stock has reflected this major concern.